Good morning. we are
Messing with technology.
we'll figure it out. We've made it. At least we've made it. We've made it this far. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Samuel Tarley with us again.
Yeah, my video's broken today. I'm flattening my machine. I promise. And because they're
On the stream, we'll show you how it's done.
yeah. So it's not gonna work, but I mean it might work. I'll turn it on later and we'll see. But at least for now, it's not working. So which is good because this means I can lay down and bring my microphone with me and narrate from afar. So good morning. It's rainy in England, so we're told. It's cold where
No,
I
it's
am.
very dreary.
I guess if my options would be to start wearing long pants and shoes. Maybe I wouldn't be so cold, but I am quite cold in sandals and gym shorts. So. Anyway, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Christos.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Stole your line.
And good afternoon, Layla.
Not on your game this morning, my
Hello.
friend. You're not on your game. And Layla. We have Layla today.
Yes, you do.
We've been planning for this for a very long time, by the way.
I know.
You're so busy.
A long time coming.
Thank you for
So,
fitting us on your schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always.
So, do we have any news today before we get going, Christos?
Nothing. Like, does the Forrester thingy count?
No, because that's not announced yet. So no, it definitely doesn't count.
I don't know. I don't think we have anything else. I think it feels like things are ramping down for Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't really get that many releases, that many news. It was also Thanksgiving a couple of weeks ago, so for Thanksgiving most of the teams are out, so not much work is done, and they don't do releases on Thanksgiving week or whatever.
Yeah.
So no, man, nothing new.
Nothing new. Well,
Nothing new.
such is life. I
Same old,
suppose.
same old.
Yeah. How about with you?
Boring.
How about with you, Lila? Anything
Yeah.
new? Anything cool and fun?
No, not really. I'm just waiting for, the Christmas holidays and the new year basically. Wipe 2020 off the slate and start fresh. So I do have to ask JP, why are you what's his face from
Samuel Tarley.
yes, that's him. That one from Game of Thrones. Why can't we see you?
So, last week, or I don't even know when it was now because it's been so long. It feels like, but last week I'm having problems with my camera. I don't know what's going. I'm having problems with my machine. Period. But somebody said in our stream the other day, they said
You look like.
he has a strong Samuel Tarley vibe, and I was like, excuse me, pardon you.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, so
And now I feel left out.
that was
Like he's.
It was a little uncomfortable, but yeah, it was. I was kind of like, well, thanks, I guess. What do you say back to that? And
Oh dear.
Hey, you saved the Northman. Come on, take
Yeah.
the credit.
well, so anyway, so since my camera wasn't working well then, I thought, oh well, I'll just put up a picture of Samuel Tarley instead. And then of course this morning my camera's not working, so I thought, well,
Here we are.
might as well try it again, I guess. So. Although it's still, it looks like we're dropping a bunch of frames. So maybe I'm just having perpetual issues today. I don't know.
Yeah, I
You
thought it
did
was
have
me.
that blue screen of death on Wednesday when
Yeah.
we were chatting. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
is it just going to die on us?
Now I'm getting a little
Please
worried.
don't.
It might just die.
It-
So.
Is this the Christos pattern in effect?
You guys jinxed it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
jinxed it. I
Everything
don't know.
everything that could go wrong has apparently. So
Did you restart your machine at all this morning?
I did. I restarted my machine right before we started, thinking I hope that nothing goes wrong today. And I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I mean, internet's good. Everything's good. I don't know why we're having so many problems today. Yeah.
It's me. I'm the jinx then.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Oh, so okay.
Oh yeah, people are complaining.
Brilliant.
All right, hang on 2 seconds. Sadly, I'm gonna try to restart it and see
Alrighty.
if that gets us fixed. So, back in a minute. We'll see if we make it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's green, so that's a good start. It's green down in my corner, so.
Both channels.
Okay, I think it looks like
Blame
we're back.
BBB.
Yeah, so Mr. Magoo
Seems
says
better.
it's not so much dropping frames as it is occasionally sending them. That seems about right. But it looks like we're good now. I think we're back. I think we're back. I think we're good. I think we're working. And I will even leave as Samwell and try to bring my video back. Although I know that
No.
Oh my God, no.
No. Why?
hey, give me a little bit of credit. So anyway,
I prefer you as Samuel Tarling. Maybe we should do that for all our meetings going forward.
well, it sounds like it's time for me to get a new job because clearly I have worn out. I have worn out my welcome on my own team. So anyway,
No, man.
I'm just
You're a
gonna-
family, remember?
I'm gonna take my internet and go home. So wait, I'm already here.
Just leave the stream, please.
I can't.
Just leave the stream running while you're away.
I can't go home. I'm stuck here. Forever.
Christos and I will do it together. You can
Yeah.
just be in the background,
Yeah,
run
exactly.
production. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
At
So
least
what-
we
what
have
are
you
we-
now.
What are we doing today? What are we doing today?
So what are we gonna do today, Layla? You got some code for us to look at, don't you?
I do have some code. So I'm a whiz with identity, not.
That's okay. Neither are we.
Oh gosh, this is going to be a comedy stream then. Everyone, you're here for comedy because I spent weeks trying to get good old ASP.NET Identity into my .NET Core app, and oh my goodness, it was a fight, and I did it. And now Christos says, why? We need to just rip it all out. So I think that's the Christos pattern, and we're going to do a migration. So, yeah.
It wasn't as aggressive as that, but I did jump on your stream while you were working on that. I was just banging my head. Why is he struggling so much with this thing, trying to make it work?
Me and
When-
half the .NET developers in the world.
You know what? Trust me, we know the pain, and we want to make it easier and better. And oh, there you go. JP is having a fit.
See, I'm broken.
Uh-oh.
I'm broken again. I'm telling you, it's been a bad day. I mean, who has done
dear.
ASP.NET Identity and not struggled? That's what I want to know. Is who's implemented ASP.NET Identity and it's been completely and totally intuitive and normal the whole time, the whole way through?
Yeah, it's
Maybe back when I was doing like framework and you go right, file new project, add identity,
Yeah.
and then you don't do anything else with it.
That's right. Yeah. So it works then when everything's generated for you, and
Yes.
beyond that,
No.
No.
We don't go beyond that. We
Yeah.
go, oh no, we don't add any custom stuff to this. It can just be like that, and we'll not have any multi-factor authentication or anything. We'll just file new. Here we go. It's all done for us. Don't touch it.
it's the
Just
Microsoft
it.
way. Next, finish,
Yeah.
and it's done. You have no idea what it did.
Identity was easy when you were using LDAP in your own network. There you go. You didn't have to worry about anything. Things were running on your machine. You could just say, "Get me the current logged in user," and it was working automatically. And that was the good old days. Now in the cloud, man, we're complicating our lives. But so we have an old app. Do you want to talk about that old app and what it does, and see how we can make it better?
Well, I mean, this isn't an old app. I built this back
Sorry.
in May.
So, yeah.
It's not an old. I mean, it's old. It's more than a week old. So yeah, I'm liking what Silicon Orchid just said there. JP just malfunctioned like an evil Matrix agent. I missed it. So I built this app back in May, and it's
That's
a
legacy
cake-
now. That's legacy.
I know. It's like decrepit legacy. May as well just throw it out. It is what is it? It's a way of ordering cakes via WhatsApp. And
Nice.
then the next stage of this app was to allow people to log in and see what they ordered. And then I was going to add some policies in there. So I had admins and stuff, but I haven't got that far yet because, I have to keep changing the way identity works.
Okay, so we cheated and we looked at the app because it's on GitHub.
Yeah, it's here.
A little bit.
So we've got there are kind of two things we can consider. So,
All right.
our big thing is B2C. That's our big sort of username and password database replacement. So if you got your own database and it's got people in it, if you don't want to do that anymore, we've got a thing called B2C, which you've used in the past.
I have.
And B2C is sort of it's like a special version of Azure AD that instead of being a bunch of people in your organization who you work with, it's a bunch of people who are your customers who want to sign in, whatever. And it does a bunch of neat stuff, and you can hook up social providers so people can sign in with their Facebook and Twitter and GitHub and all that sort of stuff. Or they could just create a brand new username and password to sign in. So there are kind of two ways to look at migrating. One is adding B2C as a part of ASP NET Identity, so it becomes part of it. So you could still use a local username and password if you wanted to, one that's in a database, and store all their profile data there, and you're just using sign-in from another provider, which is kind of like Google and Facebook and all the social stuff that's baked into .NET.
Okay.
And that way requires a little bit more code and some configuration, not a ton, but some. The other way to do it.
What am I seeing here? Is that Visual Studio?
It is Visual Studio, yeah.
Wow,
It's
it's
just got
an
a
interesting
nice
theme.
It's a nice theme. It's called Pine Gap Dark.
Ooh. What
It's
font is
fancy.
that? I like that font.
Okay, so
Yeah, what font is that?
these are very important things. Okay, this
Absolutely. Let's take a break from auth and let's talk about fonts because we're geeks.
Okay, so this font in the code editor is Dank Mono.
Dank.
Dank mono.
Nice.
Dank Mono. And then, oh, thank you, Silicon Orchid.
D-U-N-K?
D-A-N-K. Let me pop it. I'll
D-A-N-K.
pop it.
Ah, okay.
Dank Mono. I don't know if you can buy it still. And then I have the font I have in the environment is Abrima, like that.
Oh.
Oh, nice. Wait, so what do you mean you can't buy it anymore?
Oh, okay, right. Let's go. Let me bring up a browser. So Dank Mono. It was, oh God, you can't.
I thought they
It's
just
a whole
legalized
thing,
it in
this-
like 35 states this last election cycle.
It was like the guy who, I think it was a guy who made it, is not supporting it anymore.
Oh, no.
So yeah. Oh, this is like a whole thing about. Here we go. There we go. Oh no, you see, it's gone. 404. You can't have it.
What? No.
You can't have it. Oh, we got a CLW.
Yeah, CLW
Hello?
has arrived. Yeah.
CL Dubois, please.
Oh, that's right, I forgot. We're so unsophisticated
whirlwind.
compared to you.
Yeah. I'll bring the European kind of air here.
Okay, so sorry, we didn't mean to interrupt
Sure, yes.
interrupt what we were talking about.
So we can't get that font anymore. So you're one of the precious,
Yes.
gatekeepers of the font.
I am. I keep this font alive. Yeah, so you can't have it. Yeah, sorry. You can
makes
look
me
at
sad.
this and you can admire it, but you can't have it.
Like a piece of art. I like it. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Oh, we had a quick question. Are you overriding? So it looks like identity user int. You're overriding your user ID to be an integer.
I am, yes. So I was going to bring this up because you were talking about getting rid of models, and I was just getting a model up, like, getting rid of a user locally. And I was like, well, here we are, and I'm going to see how we get rid of this because I did have some custom stuff on it. So I'll be interested to see how we link that with the cloud-based stuff. So yeah, I overrode it because I want it to be an int. So yeah, you can do that. It comes up as like it defaults as a GUID, I think, but you can override it to be an int.
Okay.
So
Laser
yes,
Mr. Magoo
Caprino.
says-
Hello, Caprino.
Laser Mr. Magoo says that there might be a link that you can actually get the Dank Mono.
Might still be for sale on Gumroad. That'd be cool.
Oh.
Oh,
go.
where's that? Oh, there. Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, your question is interesting because you've got extra data about these users that's hanging off of them, and some of that could be. It kind of depends on what kind of data it is, if it's application specific or if it's user specific, and it looks like the cake orders list is definitely specific to this app, right? But if you started selling like biscuits tomorrow, then I guess your biscuit ordering app would have a list of biscuit orders instead of cakes, right?
Or an additional. And can I just clarify, is that biscuits like I think of biscuits or biscuits like you think of biscuits?
Well, it could be either. But I think both of them are delicious. Doesn't really matter what you call them. So, I mean, it's the weekend. I usually go get a biscuit on Saturday morning, and so I'm ready.
Not the weekend yet, unless you're in Australia.
That's true. They live in the future, or all of us live in the past. I guess it depends on who you ask. But so it kind of depends. It's the gutting process, if you want to call it that. If we were to go the gutting route, where we just got rid of all of your identity stuff and let B2C do it, your code gets simpler, but we still would have some extra steps. Like you still are going to have to save some data about them. So you're still going to have cake orders, and those are probably still going to live in a database somewhere, and we're probably still going to have to link them up to the user somehow.
Okay.
It just wouldn't be. It wouldn't be a part of necessarily the identity database, right? It would be part of just a separate set of entities. So the other option is to not get rid of what you've got and to instead make B2C either the option for signing in or an option to sign in. So then you could still use your local password if you've already got one, but if you want to create a new one or you want to use a social account or whatever, we could push them up to B2C, and then when they come back, ASP NET Identity consumes them and makes them look like your existing users.
Okay, that makes sense. What do you think is the best way then? If I don't have any data in here, so what would be the best way, basically from kind of scratch? Would it be just to have everybody go on B2C and just scrap?
That would be my
local
preference
stuff?
anyway. But it's JP. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased probably, but
Yeah, true. We are extremely biased on this subject.
But at the same time, like, if I'm building an app, I don't want to store anything about the user if I don't have to, because it's one more thing that I have to worry about. It's one more thing that I have to maintain. I've got to build a profile editing system. I've got to build password resets and all that sort of stuff. And all that sounds awful. And not to mention, I've still got a database full of people's data. And
even worse.
and that's the thing. Like Troy Hunt, he's in Australia. He could have already gotten our user database, and we won't know for another 14 hours. So
I know.
Yeah.
My God, too true.
So,
Run to Have I Been Pawned and check for your passwords, please.
So
And that's how he gets them all.
So my personal opinion is that you switch it to B2C. We'll keep some. We can keep the cake orders, obviously, but instead of linking them to a user via ASP NET Identity, we can just link them to a user using events. So when the user comes in, the first thing we'll do is add some extra data onto them, or maybe even change how we're storing the cake orders. So these are lots of different user identifiers and things that we can use so that people can change their email addresses, they can change their names, they can do whatever it is that they want, and their ID will always stay the same. So that I'll always know that I ordered this cake 4 years ago when I was at the worst time of my life. I was crying into my cakes every night.
Damn, man. Didn't know about that stage of your life.
I could look back and see my order history, even though things have come up. I've changed my name. I've gotten a new email address, gotten my life back on track. You won't have to go back and update that. I'll still see the 8,000 cakes that I ordered during those dark days.
With sprinkles.
With sprinkles. Just a cake made entirely out of sprinkles. Sprinkles and a binder.
I'm liking this.
Okay, well, cool. Well, so the first thing we need is a B2C tenant, which I think you've already got. So we can use that.
I think I do. Okay, now am I gonna? Is this a dox alert? You know, I'm the queen of doxing. So you might want to hide my screen for a moment.
Okay, hang on. I need an even bigger picture of Samuel Tarley for hiding the screen. Just put him right in the middle. Okay, so your screen is now...
It's gone.
hidden.
Alrighty, okay, I will be quick. Okay, so I will give you a running commentary. I am now logging into my Azure portal. I'm going to go get a password from some... Oh, it doesn't want my password. It wants... Now I'm going to go into the tenant that we discovered I had earlier. Let's go and see. And I've got it. And then I'm doing this super fast. Okay, I need to do the 2FA thing.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So there's a question from Caparino. He's asking, is B2C allowing custom profile properties like avatar, full name, etc., or do we have to use the user profile table and link it to the user ID?
No, you can,
as in the custom table.
You can definitely store avatar data or any other arbitrary data in the user object up to a point. So the expectation is that most of the user data will be key value pairs, arrays, things like that. Like we wouldn't want to store a ton of binary data necessarily, like a profile picture, but an avatar as sort of the only binary that you would store is probably okay. So.
Right, I am ready. Hello, Rick. Hello, and what's Rick saying? That I need doxing. That I'm a doxer. Is that it?
Yeah, we need to have a exclamation mark docs set up somewhere on our
Yes.
stream tools to do that.
This is it. I have a whole suite of tools that my wonderful mods and viewers can be like, oh, she's about to dox herself, and off it goes. So
That's awesome.
Yes.
There's a question from CL Dubois, and while Layla is getting her operating station up, is why do we have to set up B2C tenant in a different Azure directory? Or is that something I'm just wrong about?
No, you're not wrong about it. And in fact, this is one of the most it's one of the most frequently asked and confusing parts about the whole thing. And some of it's sort of a legacy hangover of the early days of Azure, back when it was called Windows Azure. But we have like an Azure subscription, and that Azure subscription, so the thing that you deploy a VM into or whatever, that subscription is linked to a directory. You'll hear them called tenants a lot too. So because your subscription is linked to a directory, that directory is sort of the root store of all the users who can sign into your Azure subscription and deploy resources and do whatever. It's the same thing that drives Office. So if you've got Office 365 and Exchange and Teams and all that sort of stuff at work or at school, Azure AD is also what drives who can sign in and how do you get to your data and whatever. So B2C is extra functionality bolted on top of regular Azure AD. So the underlying Azure AD has all the plumbing and the protocols and all the sort of stuff to make it work. B2C is a bunch of functionality that is sitting on top of that, and that's why you need a second one, because you wouldn't necessarily want to have your corporate users and your organizational users in the same directory as your customers who are using Facebook or whatever to sign in. So that's why they're separate, and by virtue of the fact that they are separate, it makes it difficult, or it can be difficult to really sort of, it's easy to get confused. Because typically when you sign into the Azure portal, for example, you see this kind of a screen, and the only hint of what kind of directory you're using is up in the very top corner with something very small that says, for example, ours says Layla right now, and that's the name of the directory that she's signed into. So there's a little filter thing on the side. It's the same thing you use to maybe switch subscriptions. It's right next to the notification bell, and you can use that to see all the directories you are a member of and then switch between them. So that's sort of the net of it. It's a little confusing. It's very much a quirk of our system and how we've done it. So it's just one of those things that comes along with the territory. So. All right, cool. So we've got your B2C tenant, and so the first thing we got to do is we have to create a new app registration.
Alrighty.
And an app registration is a linkage to say, hey, I've got this app, and people are going to sign into this app, and this is a way to sort of let it know about it, right? So we have to create a new one. So we'll go ahead and do that.
Alrighty.
And the name...
I'm being very slow this time because last time I was like, do this, and I was like clicking.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, wait, Layla, wait. Oh, we have Kelly Robinson here. Kelly is my colleague who is our identity guru. So if we come up against any problems,
Oh, nice.
JP,
Okay.
Kelly is going to help us, okay?
Now we feel the pressure.
I know.
Yeah, this is it. All right, what am I calling this?
Whatever you wanted to call it, whatever the name of your app is.
Cake app? Like,
Okay, so
Whatever you
it's
wanna call
CloudCityCakes.
yes, CloudCityCakes.
Okay.
Da.
And we've got
Yeah,
and
okay.
Revertables is here too. So
Dun, dun, dun. Everyone's in the house.
so the name here is just the name that you're going to see in the portal, so you know what it is. Users don't typically see it, so it can be as offensive or non-offensive as it needs to be because you and other administrators are the only ones who are going to see it. So.
Alrighty.
CL Dubois is kicking a fast there. He says cake is better than pie. I don't think
And
so.
he's right. He is right. Christos, leave.
Hey, there's only one kind of sweet that I like, and that's traditional Greek-style syrupy stuff, like baklava. If anybody on the stream had that,
Baklava.
yes, my wife is making that. That's my birthday cake, by the way.
I've got some that I found in Costco that are called Layla, spelt the same way as me.
Uh-huh.
And I bought those for Christmas, and I'm going to be shoving the whole lot in my face. So, yeah.
I found some.
It's good.
I found some Greek dressing at a supermarket in the middle of nowhere in Michigan, and it was called Matskas.
Oh my gosh!
Somebody's using my name to promote products, and I'm not getting a cut. How dare they?
I remember I sent it to him, and he says, "That's not Greek dressing." Like it was very clear. Like don't get it confused. That's not Greek dressing at all. So.
I was just going to say there's no Greek dressing, by the way. It's like olive oil and lemon juice or vinegar.
I'm gonna try to do my video again. We'll see if it. We'll see
Oh my
how long
God.
it works.
Oh, wow.
It's gonna work.
There you are.
For 2 minutes. So.
He's brave.
Okay, so accounts in a directory, that's cool.
Okay.
And any identity provider, you don't want to change that because if you do, then you're essentially no longer in B2C and everything breaks. So I don't even know
So
why
we
you
keep
can,
this one.
Yeah, I don't even know why they let you choose it because it would just break if you did something different.
Well,
All right.
we need ways to confuse people.
That's right. It wouldn't be Microsoft Identity if you weren't confused at every step down the way, which is exactly why we're here. And see, there goes my video again. It's totally broken. It's so annoying. Anyway. Since we're talking about cake, Samuel Tarley's probably appropriate today anyway.
Oh my goodness.
So now we need a redirect URI. And the redirect
Can that
URI.
be local?
Yes, it can be. And this is where we're going to send a user after they sign in. So this tends to link up with something in your application that's going to process that. It's going to process that login and make sure it's valid and check it all out. Since we're in .NET, we get the advantage of a lot of this being sort of done for us in a way. And some of the settings we're going to add here in a minute are going to show what that looks like. So yeah, so we're going to need localhost 49086 for sure. And then we'll also need a path, and the path we can put at the end is signin -OIDC.
OIDC, like that.
Yep, that's for OpenID Connect.
Okay, makes sense.
And then that checkbox, we can leave it checked, and then we will hit register, and now we'll have an app.
Register.
Yep.
Cool.
And then we got a couple things we have to do in our app, and then we're going to go write some code.
Oh my goodness.
And since
Okay.
we're going for the nuclear option, that'll be even better. So,
I'm going to, I should branch this because this is 2FA identity installed. So before we rip the innards out, I'm going to branch. So let's go. No, I don't know. Visual Studio have changed this. And now I don't know how it works anymore. So
Why not the command line for the win?
Oh yes, we're going to the command line.
Checkout branch, blah, done.
Let me make this bigger. So can I just paste that? Yes, I can.
Have you guys fed that back to the team? Like the fact that it's confusing and they haven't made it clear? I'm not a UI person. I always do Git from the command line, so I don't really care about that. But I know lots of people that rely on that UI. So
I haven't fed it back. I should. I'm on a roll. I found a bug in Blazor today, so I fed that back. So yeah, I need to change this. I love the old way of doing it. I've always done it in on the command line, and then I recently switched to doing it in Visual Studio just because the diff was easier to see and things like that. And now they've changed it all like 2 weeks ago with the last update, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is B2C nuke. There we go, that'll do. We're in it, okay.
All right, cool. So let's go back to B2C. We're going to gather 4 or 5 pieces of info from our B2C directory, and then we'll come back over here and start writing some code. Or
sounds like a plan.
Deleting some code would be better.
Woohoo! Yes, not some code, a lot of code.
It looks like yet another clip has been made of my glitchy camera. So.
Hurrah!
JP Flick says view dash git changes. So in view and then git changes should give you the diff, and then it will open a tab next to the Solution Explorer. But that's
nice,
for next time.
You can go here and then you can view the changes on that. But this is just like to get to where you used to be able to the home screen in the Team Explorer. You can't.
We like to move the cheese all the time just to keep you on your toes.
We'd
be boring otherwise,
I've noticed that this like 4-month-old app is obsolete now. Thanks.
Well, I mean, if it was,
no, it's improved.
Is it on an LTS? Is it on an LTS.NET Core? Because it would be after 6 months, right? Those are only good for 6 months, so or whatever they are. I don't remember what it was. Okay,
hey, so no, this worse. Come on, man.
Yes.
So we registered our app, and we've got there are 2 main pieces of info we need here. The first one is that application ID. And this will always be in the overview. So after you create an app, it'll always be in the overview screen of the app itself. So we need that, so we'll have to copy that somewhere. The directory ID, it's a good idea to have it just in case we need it. We probably won't, but we can go ahead and grab it and put it somewhere too. And then we'll need, then we got to go do 1 or 2 other things in B2C, and then we should be mostly finished in B2C.
All right, and then what was the other one? It was oh no, that was the application ID I just copied. What was the other one you said I needed, JP?
The directory ID.
This one, okay.
And that app ID is the thing that essentially identifies the app to B2C, so that everything that we do when we're working with B2C uses that app ID to say, hey, this is me. Okay. So while we're in here, if we are in the side menu,
we need a secret, right?
We need a secret. We need to add one other thing. So under authentication,
yes,
we're going to add another URI under web, and this is one mostly just for us to test to make sure everything's working okay. So we can add HTTPS : whack whack. JWT.
I know what that is now.
Yeah, there.
jwt.ms.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's it. And then
that's it.
And then save it. Yep.
Oh, the tick.
Don't forget to save.
Oh, where's? Oh, this one here. Okay.
And then scroll down a little bit, and there will be 2 checkboxes that we need to check for implicit, for access and ID, and we go ahead and save those. And that's mostly for the jwt.ms, because we are not going to be using the implicit flow in your application itself, so we can come back and turn those off once we're done.
Alrighty.
But it makes it a lot easier for development, just so we can see what's going on.
Correct.
We don't have mobile apps or anything, so we don't have to worry about public client right now. One other
Okay.
thing we do need is a secret. So under certificates and secrets over there on the side, we need
Are
to,
you going to dox me, JP?
well, I will hide your screen, but don't click create yet. But
We have a question from CL Dubois. He's asking, when should people use the public client flow?
public client flow is mostly for apps where you cannot store a secret. So think mobile app, console type stuff. That's what public clients are for.
Native UWP apps.
Yep. So the number of apps that require that is actually getting a little bit shorter now, just by virtue of the fact that we have there are lots of different flows and new things that have come out that make it. I don't want to say obviated, but it definitely it's definitely reduced the number of scenarios where you have to use one, especially with things like since we have broker apps on our phones, like the Authenticator app and stuff like that. It's getting a little bit easier. And then so SPA, single page apps are all done separately from public clients, so they're not really considered public clients anymore. Okay, let me hide your screen so you can generate a
Alrighty.
secret.
Okay.
So if I can find the right button, feels like
Hurrah,
There's a question
okay.
about multi-tenancy while you're
okay.
configuring that. I'll promote it. But
What
in
am
the
I calling
meantime-
this?
Secret,
in
anything.
particular?
Just give it a name.
Anything, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can even name it anything. The question is, what happens if the app is being designed as a SaaS and it's being used by multiple customers? So we're talking about multi-tenancy, and we need to support that in B2C.
Well, so in this case, this app is pretty much just people from the internet, right? I mean,
Yep.
unless you organizationally sell cakes, if somebody wants to make like a bulk order of 9,000 cakes or something, but B2C isn't, the intention of B2C is to be used as a generic username and password database. So the fact that Azure AD is in the name, it doesn't really bear a whole lot of similarity to regular Azure AD in terms of the kinds of scenarios you use it in. So regular Azure AD is all about organizational stuff, including multi-tenant SaaS. So if I'm doing business-to-business type of work where I'm selling Dropbox, for example, that makes a whole lot of sense to use regular Azure AD and use something called multi-tenancy, which we actually are going to be talking about soon. Not today soon, but in the next few weeks soon. B2C is all about anybody can come in with any ID from any number of different providers, and they only exist inside of this directory for the purposes of the apps that are using this directory. Now, there's a whole other conversation around what we call the multi-tenancy with B2C, where you use B2C as sort of the main identity store, and then you may have Azure AD, organizational Azure AD with multi-tenancy, for letting users use their work accounts to sign into your app. And if they don't have a work account, like a Microsoft work account, then they use their Google account or their Facebook account or just create a new username and password. So if you're building like enterprise SaaS, that's where you would use a pattern kind of like that. And then now
I'm nearly done.
that's okay. No, I'm rereading the question too, just to make sure I'm not missing the point. So this is okay. So I think JP Flick's question 2 is more about. This is a SaaS, and CloudCityCakes might use it, and so will MyCakes. And that is an interesting tenancy question, because how do you want to manage it? And there are a couple different ways to do it. I have a customer that's doing something kind of similar, and the way that they're doing it is their customers are going and creating they're creating their own B2C tenants or other things, because some of their customers have their own identity systems they'd like to use, and then linking them up. So using them as identity providers into the main one. And then there's a whole conversation around home realm discovery of a user's come and they've signed in and they've used their username. How do we route them to the right identity provider, and then back to the right instance of the application, or back to the right sort of tenancy for their own app. And on the front side, we can do a lot of home realm discovery in B2C. We've got some policies and things that we can share that show different ways to think about doing it. Most of the tenancy on your side is handled by you. So on the app side, there are lots of different properties that we get for a user. And the app, especially if it's like a proper multi-tenant app where there's one large farm of this app running instead of individual instances for individual customers, the app needs to look at the metadata from B2C or from the identity system and say, oh, this is user 123, came from tenant ABC, and then what does that mean in your app? Does that mean I have an organization that's linked to tenant 123? And then your app makes the decision of what data to show based on a combination of the user and their tenancy. So we're going to have more about this, though. I think right after Christmas, we're going to get into some more things about multi-tenancy, because we've got a lot of questions about multi-tenancy in apps for like things like Teams and Power Apps and whatever. So we'll talk about it more in a few weeks, about all the different things that go into making that tenancy work. So, okay. Are you? Can I share your screen now? Okay, good.
I think so.
Okay, good. So we've got the app ID, we've got the directory, we've got the secret, right? So now we have all the pieces that we need for our app to work. The only other thing that we need right now in B2C is we need to make sure we have a user flow. So that's up one level back in the B2C sort of overview.
This one, yeah.
And on the left side, you should have a menu, although it appears that you don't.
No, I don't.
I don't. Go back one and come back. We'll try that.
I just saw it and I just didn't click it, did I? Azure B2C. Is it gone? There
we go. Okay, cool.
Hurrah.
So now we can look at identity providers if you want briefly. We don't have to necessarily add any new ones, but we'll look at the ones that we have. So we have a bunch out of the box, Google and Facebook and GitHub and all sorts of stuff like that. LinkedIn, CL Dubois is letting people log in with their LinkedIn accounts, which I'm just like, does anybody even use LinkedIn? But apparently enough people do. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess if I want a cake congratulating myself, I guess that's what I'd use my LinkedIn account for. I don't know.
New job. New job. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah. I'd like to thank myself for coming out to see this. So, anyway, there are lots of different identity providers. By default, you get email address, and password. So you don't have to do any configuration to make that work. It's just there and it works. The other ones you have to do a little bit of work on the other side. So, like, if you wanted to use Facebook sign-in, you have to go set up a Facebook developer account because you have to go through all that, which you'd have to do kind of anyway. So. So those are the ones. We'll start with email, and if we want to add a social one later on, we can. That's sort of the advantages. You don't have to do any of it now, and if you want to add it later, you just add it. You don't have to make any changes to your app, which makes it a lot easier to make those kinds of changes later on. Okay, so further down on the left, we've got user flows. And user flows are essentially interactions with B2C. So you want to sign a user in, you want to change their password, you want to let them edit their profile. All that's done in a user flow. So we got to create a new user flow. The one that you have is a little bit older, so let's create a new one just so that we have the latest and greatest. And you see there are lots of different types. And the one that we care about is sign up and sign in. And so that way from one page you can do either. And then recommended is the one that we want. So that's cool. And we got to give it a name. So we call them Susie, S-U-S-I, for sign up, sign in. But you're free to call it whatever it is that you'd like.
I'm gonna go sign. I'm actually gonna. Can I do it long? Like.
Yeah.
So I remember what it is. Sign up, sign in.
Yeah. So your users will see this in the URL. So this isn't the place to be offensive, but this is they'll see it in the URL. But that's about it. And if we scroll down a little bit,
It
we got a
doesn't like it.
couple
Oh,
more
okay.
settings.
That's because there's more. I was like, it doesn't like it. But it's because there's more. Okay.
So now we need
This one?
Yep. So this is a list of accounts that people can use. If you've configured social, you would choose which ones you want, because maybe you don't want somebody to use Amazon when they're signing in, but you want them to use it as I mean, who knows? All sorts of different reasons. MFA, we're not going to worry about MFA. Switch it to email for now, just so that we don't accidentally cost any money. MFA enforcement as conditional is what we're recommending now, and if we get around to conditional access today, we'll get that all sorted out. But so conditional is the way to go. Always on. If you get MFA'd every single time you sign into an app, it's probably going to be pretty annoying. And so we prefer conditional because at least it gives you some rules that you can set to say, maybe you should MFA because you're coming from a different country than you were in 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
Last one, user attributes, token claims. These are pieces of data about the user that we need to store. There are a lot of them, and you can add your own. So if there was some extra piece of data we wanted to store, you could store them. There are two things, collect and return. Collect are things you want to ask the user for. Collect means even if I already know that piece of data because they signed in with Facebook, so I already know their first name, the user still gets a chance to override it. So they will always be presented with this box to say, hey, what's your city or what's your name? Anything you check under collect attribute, a user's going to be able to choose to either provide it for you or to override a value that's already there.
Yeah, so is there any information on the cake business that we need to collect?
Country?
Well,
Country we don't serve in this country, maybe?
Well, I noticed there was country code in your user model.
now the country code and the phone number, if I show you those, and if we go back in here, and those are specifically, I don't even need those anymore because Kelly
Perfect.
made me get rid of them. I
Nice
need
of
the
you, Kelly, thank you.
number, but I don't need the country code anymore because that was for Authy and we've switched to Verify. So those are for my two-factor authentication, and that's the only reason I need the country code in there. But the number I get from the WhatsApp sign up, WhatsApp ordering system, so I probably still need a number. So we could get a number from this because then we can match it to the WhatsApp sign up. So I think a number would be good.
Okay.
Ooh, there's a good question from Silicon Orchard. Can you store things like data compliance opt-outs, etc. here, like GDPR opt-outs?
Absolutely, you can. In fact, we have a lot of customers doing that specifically because it's now no longer stored in the applications, it's now stored in the identity system, and so you don't have to re-implement it and capture that for every app, you just capture it for a user. These
We've got you covered.
Yeah, these are the out-of-the-box attributes that you can store about users, but you can add your own custom ones. I think you can have up to 200 custom ones, although that would be pretty big
Excessive.
token. Yeah, we don't have. If I have to fill in 200 fields of data to sign up for buying a cake,
Yeah,
probably
I'm not buying a cake.
I'm gonna go buy a cake somewhere else.
Well, I think I'd like the name, and I'd like it could be display name, or because I think display name is more inclusive than given name and surname, isn't it? I think they say.
Okay.
And I see email address we would get anyway. And then I don't see telephone number here. Where's their telephone number?
Telephone is not one of the default properties. Interestingly enough, but that's okay. So if we want to ask the user for their display name, we want to check that under the collect attribute. And if we want to return it to the app, so the app can see that, we also want to make sure we return it. Email address, we want to capture their email address. And there's a little bit of a difference here. You can store multiple email addresses for a user, and that's why if you want to get their email address, we have to store it, or we have to retrieve it in the array, as opposed to in the other. And then do we want given name? Or are we going to skip those? Okay.
Well, I don't know. I asked them for their name, so it could be all right. But let's just have display name. I'll heed that. Let's go.
And we can change it. It doesn't have to say display name.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we want is the user's object ID. So they can't provide that. We generate one for them. It's a GUID because, of course, it's a GUID because it's a Microsoft product. But we definitely want to return it. And then we may also want to return that user is new claim at the bottom. Because that gives us some extra options. So, like, maybe we want to say, hey, you get 10% off because it's your first order or something like that. That's what that user is new claim is there for. So click OK.
Look at JP with his sales hat on.
I know.
Yeah, you see, it's good.
Yeah, I
Consulting on business.
I hadn't told you yet, but at the end of the year, I'll be leaving to start my own cake business.
Using Layla's code as a...
Goodness help you if you use my code for your cake business.
International man of sugar mysteries. So, sell cakes around.
So that's everything we can add there. We can't add the phone number here. So should I do create now?
So go ahead and do create. Yep.
Alrighty.
And then if we want to add phone number, let's go look at adding a custom attribute. So if you scroll up a little bit, you see user attributes.
I do.
And user attributes is where we can store a phone number.
Okay, so if I go phone number, it's a string because I guess it would have, it's the EC, what's it? Somebody tell me, CLW, someone who also works in telephony, tell me the standard that we use. So we'd have this, the full telephone number, including country code.
Including country code, yeah.
And plus. That'll do.
It's an international business.
There you go, E.164. Thank you, CLW. Or CLW, or WV.
Ciel Dubois. Ciel Dubois.
Ciel Dubois. Dubois.
So funny.
So, friends.
E.164 format. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. My mind went blank.
Okay.
I wanted to call it ECMA or something. Goodness gosh.
Okay, so we've got our phone number. So now let's go back to our user flow and let's add that as one that we want to. You can just click it, the whole line.
Oh, I can. Okay. The whole line. Okay.
And so because we want to capture it from the user, it's a user attribute. And because we want to send that back to the app, we also want to make that an application claim. Now make sure you save it at the top.
So save, and then we go back, and then there's another thing we tick. Is that it?
Yep, so there's application claims there.
Oh, here, this one. I see. Okay, so phone number.
Choose phone number. And we can save it up.
Save.
Yep.
Cool.
So now, by doing that, we're both going to ask the user for their number, and then we're also going to send it to the application, and so the app will have it for sending text or doing whatever sort of extra work we want to do. Or marrying it to their WhatsApp, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, near the bottom, we've got page layouts. And this is where we can customize things. So if you wanted to put your own branding and write a bunch of HTML, you could do that. But in addition, we also have a couple things we can do. So in that unified sign-up or sign-in page, if that top part should have a scroll, so we can scroll just a little bit here.
Oh, this bit. Okay.
And let's look at that local account sign-up page. And if we scroll down some, you'll see a list of the fields, and here you can change them. So you could ask them to change their, if you want to change it from display name to, what do you want your name to be, if you want it to be optional. You've got different types, so if you click on the text box, there are different types of input that you can use. So if you want to let somebody choose or, give them a list arrange a list, whatever. You do all that sort of stuff here. And then if you don't want to say display name, but you want it to say, like, what do people call you? I mean, whatever you want. This is what gets displayed. So we can save that, and that way we've got it. And good. So now we've got our user flow. So we need to copy that name, that B2C_1_ sign up sign in, because we're going to need that name.
This one.
Should we test it?
And while we're here, if you want, hit that Run User Flow button.
Yep.
Okay, let's go.
And we probably want to change that. Oh, well, yeah, that's fine. Whatever. You can run it.
I'm ready.
So now we're at a sign-in page. So now we can sign in. And let's do a sign up since you're gonna sign up for. We'll assume you don't have an account here yet.
Okay, so Layla at cake is the best.com.
You're gonna get an email with that address. Is that address gonna work?
No. Oh, you have to. I have to give a real one.
It's the real thing. We are.
Oh my
JP, what do you use?
gosh.
You use Mailinator, right? So we can create.
I use Mailinator.
Yeah.
It just creates.
If you don't want to share your
It gets
real.
wet.
Yeah.
It
Because you
can
don't
go
want to share
wet.
your real email address, I assume. And
It's
get
okay.
bombarded by-
And so now do I send a verification code before I continue?
You do.
Okay.
Now, the reason that's there is part of that's because if you were to let anybody come in and sign up without a verification code, you run the risk of somebody flooding your tenant with users, right?
Ah.
And the first 50,000 monthly sign-ins are free, but over 50,000 you start paying for them. And so over 50,000 you pay for them, and so that's why we want to use the verification codes, just so that you don't have somebody who wants to come and troll you and charge you a bunch of money. And RIY3 is back. The one who's named me, by the way, as so.
Dan trolls.
Oh my giddy aunt, look at that. Can I make that something different?
What do you mean? You can. So that's a password policy.
And I can't change it.
You can change it, but obviously not from here, because if you could set
No,
your
I
own
know,
password
not from
policy,
here.
that might be a problem. But yeah, lowercase, uppercase, digit, and symbol.
Fine.
Pumpkin 42 with a capital P.
I've got it. It's okay.
And then now we
Done
need
it.
your phone number and E1644. Here, I'll give you one. Use +1 980 207 2561.
Is that what I think it is?
No, that's just my home phone that's unplugged from the wall.
What's the point of having a
look at
hotline
these
if you don't use
things.
it?
Okay, right. What did you say? Pumpkin
I said pumpkin
64.
42. Or 64, that's fine.
Pumpkin 64. Done. Ugh.
Apparently you already exist in this data. So if you want, let's go delete your old user. We don't need it anymore, right? Back in the B2C portal, you got a list of users, and we'll just delete them. Go up one level.
Blizzard, Mr. Magoo says, how about password 1 exclamation mark? No, we won't allow you to use that one because I think we get as a common password use, if I remember
So should I
correctly.
delete all of these?
Well, not all of them.
Oh, not all of them. Okay.
Do not delete
That one.
do not delete that one, and do not delete the top one. You want to delete
Yes.
Oh yeah.
2 and 4.
I think one thing that Chris Paget showed us the other day was creating a second admin account.
Yeah.
That
It looks like
sorry,
she
a
has
second
one.
owner.
I do. Claire Novotny made me do it, and
Nice.
to try and get my MVP Microsoft Office account, and then had to go on another call, and I was like, I don't know how to finish this off. So now I have all Claire managed to get me to do is add 2-factor push notifications on my Azure account. That's it, and still no Office. And how do I delete these? Do I have to go into them?
I think there's a little ellipsis up in the top bar.
Ah, well
and
spotted. There we
delete
go.
users. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
All right. Now we go.
Now you
Okay.
should
We go
just
back
do-
here.
Well, no, you're already in the other tab.
Ah,
You don't have
yes.
to run it
Here we
again.
go. Yes. Great.
Look at that. Okay, cool. So now we've ended up at this jwt.ms app, right? And this is just a web app that's out there on the internet that you can use. Anybody's free to use it for checking tokens and inspecting them and debugging them, all that sort of stuff. So if you zoom in a little bit, you'll see
Meow.
we've got these three main sections. The red is the header, the blue is the data, and the green is the signature. Luckily, you don't have to worry about that because most of the libraries do all that work for you. The things that matter are in the middle. So you notice we get your email address, we get the fact that you're a new user is true, we get your phone number, we get your the policy you signed in with. and your emails and your object ID. So that OID and the sub and the OID are two pretty important pieces of data. That's the unique user ID. So the sub and the OID for this user should never, the OID for this user should never ever change. Should always be the same unless you were to delete it and sign up again.
Alrighty.
So never ever, ever, ever use an email address as a primary key in your user database. So if you're going to go look up a user, don't ever look them up by their email address, unless you're going to go send them an email. But even then, don't rely on that as being unique, because I change my email address all the time. Okay, so cool. So this is what your app's going to get, and it works, and we can sign in and do all that sort of fun stuff. So now we got to go. Now it's time to go blow up your code.
Let's write some code. Actually, let's delete some code.
So
it's also 9 o'clock. Should we take a quick break for everyone who's on the stream, maybe stretch their legs and stuff like that, and come back in 2 minutes?
Sure, we'll take a quick break.
2 minutes, did you say? 2?
Well, two and a half. That's how long we have on the loop.
So our music loop our music loop is only 2.5 minutes long, and some people got really, really upset with us.
Upset when they have to hear it again. Yeah.
So
all right, don't worry. We will be back.
I'll try to do it in 2.5 minutes, but I make no promises. I asked Christos if he was ready, and apparently he's so
I put it on a t-shirt.
Now we know it's true. Oh, man,
yeah,
awesome.
now it's written. There you go. I have all sorts of t-shirts that make fun of, modern life in IT. Like, you're muted.
Oh my god.
That's true. He does have a "you were muted" one too. So.
And I have an "I am immutable," which is going on Monday. You can't mute me. There's a question by Whiskers Edge, by the way. Thanks for joining our stream. The question is, Exchange now supports plus addresses, which is awesome. So you can do Christos plus awesome at Microsoft.com. And the question was, does AD B2C support that as well? The answer is
yes, it does.
yes.
Because I end up using them a ton because I don't want to have to go create a bunch of other addresses. So yeah, it does support it. So yeah, you can use a plus address as your email address.
It's good for getting rid of spam as well,
yeah.
so you know exactly who's spamming you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. I used my plus addressing when I was looking to refinance my mortgage. And, I'll just say there's a certain mortgage servicer or mortgage provider in the United States who's very bad about sharing your email address with literally anybody. So,
wow.
So now I have thousands of emails asking me when I want to refinance my house. I'm like, well, I already did it. And so, yeah. So...
you buy a car. When do you want to buy another car? Dude, I just bought a car. It's not something I change every month. Sometimes.
So, although I did buy 2 in 6 months, which my wife was not happy about. Whatever. Different story.
Are you happy with the Volvo now?
Yeah, I love it.
Are you happy with the Volvo now?
Love it. I got the Polestar software on it, so it's like super fast now. So nothing like you drop the kids off in a cloud of smoke in a station wagon.
You open the door and you just let them go without even stopping the car.
Yeah, you just.
How about that?
You just come in.
Duck and roll.
Just come in sideways. It's like, all right, man, open the door. You know the drill. We've tested this, so. And then Sahil's had a question, and he's had this question for like at least 2 weeks now, and I feel bad that we don't have an answer yet. Token sizes are pretty important. So the size of the token is directly dependent upon how many claims are in the token, how many of those key value pairs are in the token. I do not have an answer yet on the absolute upper bound of the size. I believe the size is fixed, not necessarily at the number of claims, but at the size of the overall token. And of course, things like implicit flow cause problems with that because it's sent in the URL. And the URL can only be so long. So I will get an answer though as to what the overall size is for the overall total size for token, and yeah, we would suggest reducing the size of tokens to be as small as feasibly possible, because of course you don't want to have to send a huge payload of data every time a user signs in and then go and get the data as necessary. However, if it's something you need on login, then if it's something you need to have when a user first signs in, then it's kind of something you have to have. So anyway, I'll get you an answer Okay, so we know our
Code.
sign-in flow
Code.
works. So let's go.
Let's do
go
some
look
code.
at code.
Whoop whoop.
So we're
It's
gonna.
the most fun bit. Wiping.
So are we gonna
Wiping out.
just before we get too destructive? We are going to take what you have now and remove it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna not use ASP.NET Identity, which is cool.
Which is here.
Yeah. Good. Oh, look at all that code we get to delete. That's awesome. Love
Yes.
it. Love it.
It's even more. Wait. Look, there's more.
Yeah.
It just keeps going on.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no.
That looks like the when I was like 3 or 4 years in, and I just learned all about inheritance, and I was like, oh, everything has to be a class, and everything needs to be a file. Here's one file with one property in it, and it derives from 4 other classes that all derive from each other. So anyway, cool. So for the moment, let's just rename our identity area to something else, like identity.old or .bad or something. It doesn't really matter what it's called. So now we need decrepit. That's perfect. Bring all of you Twilio folks. You just bring so much sophistication with us when you come on the call. We've got
Sophisticated, yeah.
CL Dubois comes on with his pinky permanently up while he's drinking tea. You've got decrepit instead of just bad. So, I mean, just anyway. So the first thing we need to do, we got to add 2 libraries, 2 new NuGet packages to your app.
Alrighty. So you want me to go to the NuGet package manager?
Yep, let's do that. And we're going to search for Microsoft.Identity.Web.
.web.
Yep, and there will be 2 of them.
No, there won't.
Browse.
Oh, installed. Yes, I thought I clicked that. I was like, come on. This one.
Yep. So we need this one, and this is a relatively new library. It's already got 500,000 downloads, which is awesome. Seeing as
Wow.
it's like 2 months old.
Hey, that's us doing demos.
Probably so. So we need identity.web, and there's another package which is identity.web.ui. And the combination of these 2 is going to give us everything that we need to get you signed in. And
Sounds
with
good.
very little code. Okay, so we've got our 2 packages. So let's go now to startup.cs.
And rip out all my old identity stuff.
Pretty much, yeah.
Almost,
So,
yeah.
we can get rid of, so pretty much 39 through 46 can all go, which is awesome. And then now we need to configure identity.web. And what identity.web does is it actually configures a bunch of ASP.NET primitives for you. So instead of you having to write a ton of configuration, instead it just does it for you. So it's services.add authentication. And then with no parameters, and then add, and then from here we're going to do .add Microsoft Identity Web App, I think it is. We'll have to add the reference.
What are you looking for? Sorry?
Microsoft Identity Web App. Is that what it is?
Yeah, add Microsoft Identity Web App.
Yeah, we'll have to add.
But why are you doing it in 2 lines and not 1 line?
So we can see it.
They can do services.add Microsoft Identity Web App Authentication.
Because that never works right for me.
It should. It should
does.
not matter. Look,
Damn,
well,
that
add
bothers.
Microsoft, no dot. Is that
There's
right?
no
Add
dot, yeah.
Microsoft.Identity.Web.
No.
No
Yeah,
dots.
dots.
Just add Microsoft
No dots.
Identity Web App.
Okay. And then parentheses.
Yes, and then we need a using Microsoft.Identity.Web, and we'll need another using for identity.web.ui. Yep, we'll need one for both.
Like it.
I'm surprised that intelligence don't pick it up.
Yeah. We might have to reboot.
Are you surprised?
No,
Okay.
I'm not.
I'm not
Okay.
surprised. Okay, and then it's Microsoft Identity Web App. Yeah, app.
Okay, this one.
Yep.
Yep.
Whoa. Okay, hang on. Wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what that did then.
No, it's cool. So now
Okay.
the only other thing we need is we need a chunk of configuration, and so we can do a configuration.get section in our in the constructor in the and the constructor or the setting block. We call it Azure AD B2C. You can call it that too. Yeah, Azure B2C settings. That's fine. And now we're gonna
As
go.
I already had it set up, so.
So now all we need is we need to go add some settings in our app settings. So in our settings, we are going to have a block of a few, and I will
Alrighty.
let me pull them up so that I tell you exactly the correct ones.
Caparina says you can do section colon property, and that should work. Although we're looking for the whole. Okay, for simplicity. I didn't know that works. Interesting.
It can, yeah. It will go into it, so you can grab the exact one.
So let me get this up here. So, in our app setting, if I can find it in my project here.
If you want me to see that screen, it is teeny tiny. I'm
Oh,
going to need
sorry.
binoculars.
Oh, sorry. No, here you go. This is the block that we need that you can see,
Alright.
but nobody else can see. So the first thing we need is an instance. An instance is going to be essentially the name of your B2C tenant. So it's HTTPS, and then I don't remember what yours was called.
Well, you can go grab it. Hang on. Do we go back here?
It's
And
that,
In the Azure portal, yeah.
that domain name at the top. It's Layla Stream.
That one.
Yep. So we're going to need that. Now we're going to end up using it twice. So the first one is https:// Layla Stream, but instead of .onmicrosoft.com, this is .b2clogin.com.
Okay, yes, I kind of remember this from when we did it before. So, let me just see what you've got there. Where are you? Where am I? Oh, yes. Okay, so B2C login. Okay.
.com, and then a /
B2C login, and then / TFP.
TFP. Trust
Alrighty.
Framework Policy, and then a trailing slash as well.
Okay.
And then the next thing we need is your client ID. So this is the application ID that we got from earlier, or when we registered the application. So we'll need that GUID.
Okay, we'll get that in a second. So this is now the client secret, which will change, which is going to be this one. I think that was the value, client secret. And
then we have a callback path. And the cool thing about the callback path is that it's all done for you. So whatever path you put here gets sort of wired up automatically for you. But since we already had it as SignIn OIDC on yours, then we'll do it here too.
And that domain looks like it's going to be that one that I copied a minute ago, like that.
Yep, that's it. And that's your directory's sort of name. That's your directory's primary name.
Yeah. Then we got signed out callback.
Mm-hmm. And since we're not doing sign out yet,
We can skip that one,
it
right?
doesn't really matter, but we do need to have it because we
Okay.
need to have this setting at least.
Sign up, sign in, policy ID. Okay. Sign up, sign in, policy ID. And now we need a reset password policy ID. Reset password. Oh my goodness, this is painful for people. Policy
I'm sorry, I
ID.
should
To
have
watch me
pasted this
type.
somewhere.
Yeah, we had a chat. We have that chat thing, and then oh no, where have you got? No,
Oh,
I'm there now.
Sorry.
And edit profile policy ID. Okay.
Yep.
Edit.
Are you sure you need all that, JP, for getting Identity.Web to work with B2C?
Yeah, last time I tried it without it, the library blew up and said, "Oh, I can't find these." So,
Oh, interesting.
yeah.
Right.
Alrighty.
Okay. So now, so about the only one of these that we actually really need is the sign-up, sign-in policy, because that's the only one that we've created.
So far, yes.
And so that's the policy name that we had from earlier, the B2C one sign-up, sign-in.
Hey,
Also,
one punch smack. Welcome to stream.
Yeah, user flow and policy are used interchangeably.
Okay.
For the other ones, we can just leave them blank. Now we do need a callback path, and the callback.
All right. What's that?
The callback path is / signin -OIDC.
Sign in. This is the same as we set up, isn't it? In
Yep.
in what's it? And then for another slash? No
Nope.
trailing slash.
And then
Okay.
these have to match. So if you're getting errors doing this, that's the first thing to look at, is that your callback path matches that return URL that we created. So
Yeah.
okay, so then the next one is the client ID. We need a client ID.
Is that this one?
It is the application ID.
And then I just need to go and do secret stuff in a moment,
Okay.
just so you know.
Oh, that's right. I better get ready for my clicks.
Yeah.
To click the
Yeah.
right things at the right time. Okay. So you tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready for you to hide my stuff.
Okay. It is hidden.
All right. Good, good. Okay, so what I'm doing is just updating the value in here, and I'm actually going to bring these over because sometimes I'm in user secrets, folks. Sometimes if you don't have this all over it, it doesn't always play ball. So I'm going to just grab that and just duplicate them for now. Nope, that was wrong.
And while you are doing your secrets, send us your stories about what you're building with our stuff, and we will send you cups and mugs and all sorts of fun stuff. Christos, you've got some right there with you, don't you?
I do.
So
You want to do the modeling thing?
yeah, for sure.
I feel like you need
You can get
music
this.
now.
You can get
you
these.
need to drink more
or
out of it.
you can get one of these. Drink more. Like, yeah, let's just drink some more.
Yeah, so feel free to send us an email to 45show@microsoft.com, or you can use
Yep.
the link up there in the top. Send us your stories. Tell us what your challenges. Tell us things that you're building, things that you like about Microsoft Identity, or the kinds of problems you're trying to solve with it. And start talking to us. And if you have problems and issues and concerns, feel free to reach out to us on that address too.
You know what? I'm gonna paste all that information into the chat so you guys can copy paste the links and what have you.
Yeah.
Because we do have.
I am good to go, JP.
All right.
All my secrets are hidden. Look at me being so good, not doxing myself.
Okay. So, okay, cool. So, those are all the settings that we need. I don't think we need ID. What is ID for?
No, that was an old one. I just got rid of it. Don't worry.
Okay. Okay, so we don't need any of that. So let's go back to your startup and let's just check it to make sure that everything looks good. So we've got our add identity web app. We do need to add one more thing closer to the bottom of this method where we are setting up our controllers with views.
Ooh. Do we need this anymore?
We don't need that. That can go.
More code nuked. Bye. And what about this one? These.
So
here.
we may still need those, although we'll probably do it in a little bit of a different way. So if you want, I would just comment out the options, just 61 to 62, because it looks like we've got a combination of Razor Pages and MVC, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
because, this is what happens. You have an MVC project, you want to bring identity in, and you're forced to learn Razor Pages.
Oh,
Really?
Very interesting.
Wow. So the scaffolding actually uses Razor Pages. It doesn't use.
Yeah. So that's why I have both. So these are all Razor pages over here.
Right.
So you can see they've got the code behind.
So do you prefer Azure Pages or do you prefer MVC?
I am MVC all the way.
Really? Oh, I'm getting partial to Azure Pages these days. Reminds me
No,
web
gone.
forms. Web forms with postbacks.
Oh my God,
And some
stop
Ajax
it.
in there.
You guys start giving me seizures. Think about view state and postback and oh my God. Okay. Anyway.
Can we just get rid of him, JP?
Do you
just
remember
have
the
us.
good old days of Ajax refresh panels? They had refresh panel within a refresh panel with a refresh panel.
Maybe
And it was so much fun.
Maybe I can just mute you.
You know what? I'm gonna put my T-shirt that says I am immutable.
Nobody puts baby in a box. Oh
Yeah,
so funny.
exactly. Right. Let's carry on. Ignore me.
Alrighty.
Okay.
What are we else are we nuking here?
So the only other thing we need is after add controllers with views, there will be an add Microsoft Identity UI. You should be able to do it off of controllers. Add controllers
Yeah?
with views.
Okay.
Yep.
Dot add. What was it? Dot add.
Add Microsoft Identity UI. There we go.
There we go.
And
Wonderful.
that essentially brings in a bunch of controllers that already have all the methods for challenge and authenticate and all the callback stuff. All that's baked into the library, so you don't have to implement any of it on your own. It's just all done by the library. And then scroll down. I think you've got app.use authentication and use authorization on both. That's good. We may need to add a fallback authorization policy, but let's hold off on that.
Wait, have we added the authorization code as the option for OIDC?
Oh, no, we didn't. That's a good call. I did forget about that.
There you go.
Okay.
Always forget about that.
So there's one extra thing that we need to do. And this is an optional
Alrighty.
thing. We do this because we are super pedantic.
Pedantic?
But I
Never.
personally, I feel like it's something to worry about. So, under our identity.web call, near the top of the method.
This one.
Yep. So under that, we are going to do a services.configure. And the type is Microsoft Identity Options. I think it's just one type. It doesn't have any dots.
Oh, okay. Yes. That makes sense. Identity options.
And then there will be there's a I think a func there, and we're gonna make one change. So
In here.
Inside, yep. Options, lambda,
Why did I
or
do that
fat
wrong
arrow,
side?
or X.
Yep.
Yeah, X fat
Okay.
arrow.
we're gonna do x.response type.
Oh, ligatures, I like that.
And the response type is going to be equal to, and we can either we can add yet another using statement, or you can just write the word code as a string, all lowercase.
But there's an enum if you want to use the enum.
I'd like an enum.
Okay,
There you go.
okay.
Thank you, Layla.
Okay, well, okay, you two. All right. It's the enum. It's OpenID Connect response type.
All right. OpenID Connect response type.
Dot.
It's
code.
wordy, but
Dot code.
Dot code.
Yep.
yes, JP Flick. Is JWT token validation handled completely by Microsoft.Identity.Web? The answer is yes. You don't have to do a single thing.
It is.
You don't have to lift your finger. It's a one-liner or two-liners.
So what we're doing here is by default, this would use the implicit flow for signing in a user. We don't really want to do that because implicit flow has it's the least secure of all of the flows, right? So we don't want to use it if we don't have to, and we don't have to. We can use a response type of code, and what that does is the server actually opens a back channel to do validation. So the server, your web server, talks to Azure AD directly and says, hey, the user provided me this code, this one-time use code. Please give me a token for it. And that way, your identity token never touches the browser. When we use implicit, the identity token comes in the browser channel, comes in the front channel, and it's just not something we want to. It's not something we want to encourage or do anymore. And until the library, I think they're making some changes to make that happen out of the box. But until then, that's what this configuration does: is it forces us to have a code. Okay, so in your code or in your app, what areas are you protecting? Like, which areas do I need to sign in order to see?
I think it's an admin area, right?
Yeah, there's an admin area. So anything in here.
Okay. So
it'd be this controller.
Okay, good. So, and you've already got authorize on there. Perfect. Because we're swapping one for the other, we really don't actually have to make a change here. You can do some neat stuff where you could authorize with certain providers. So you could say you must sign in with Azure AD to reach this controller, but you must sign in with some other provider to reach a different controller. But
okay.
Luckily, since you've already got that, we don't have to do it. So I say we run it and see.
Okay.
What we get.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Let's see what happens.
Dun, 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 dun,
So did we wipe out all the code, or is it still around?
It's still there.
Still there.
It's still
Just
there.
ignoring
We
it for
didn't
now.
nuke it.
Time for the magic. Yeah. After an hour and 34 minutes, we run the app for the first time.
That's okay. Okay, so now we need. So something is waiting on a user manager. Interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Which code is waiting for user manager, or which code is expecting to be injected with the user manager?
I'm guessing that all of this identity stuff up here is still running. Let's just have a look in this admin controller. I don't think this was waiting on a user manager. I think everything that uses the user manager is in the old Razor Places stuff. I think it's everything.
We've got a branch. We
here.
can just delete it, right?
Yeah, that's, we can just do that.
Okay.
Bye.
Problem solved.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Thanks for coming. We'll be back.
So an hour of configuration, 10 minutes to write a little bit of code, and we're done.
Do any of your
We'll
repositories?
see. It might still fail.
Do any of your repositories expect anything?
Let's
There
go
might
check.
be,
So,
yeah.
do we see anything down here? This is all render page. So that's all Razor View stuff. So I wonder, is it because we've still got this? Now we've got rid of the Razor pages. If we go to the startup, we're still telling it to do Razor pages.
And on 70.
So-
Let's just get rid of all of that because we're not going to have any Razor pages, right?
No, I think
Exactly,
that could
Okay.
go. I think that could go.
Okay.
Look at that. Look how simplified it is now.
So clean.
Let's see.
So clean.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. We don't need to map. Get carried away now. Let's see. We've got that one. Let's just go and check some of these services. So if we go and have a look at the service, I don't believe any of these. Let's have a look at the verify. No. Let's just run it and see. Maybe.
What's the worst that can happen?
It'll blow up again.
Dr.
Or it could just work.
Dr. Einstein von Brainstorm. Your thoughts on live share, how it works, and is that better than just screen sharing via Teams? Well, live share allows you to actually collaborate on code rather than sharing a screen. So it is a lot better from a collaboration perspective, and you can learn a lot of things, and you can have multiple people working on issues. So I like it. I prefer it.
It looks like it's coming from a partial. Did you?
Yeah.
I thought that. Isn't that how you're showing and hiding the authorization? Or the admin page in the header thing?
Let's go and have a look in views. Okay. Yes, very, very good catch there. Because if we go and have a look in let's have a look in login partial. Yeah, there we go.
There they are. Okay.
Well remembered here. So this is a Razor page, and this was moved. So this login partial might be able to go. So because this could be deleted, I think.
Well,
or changed?
yeah, let's change it because we still want to show the user, right? So instead of sign-in manager is signed in, and instead of requiring the sign-in managers and the user manager, we can get rid of both of those, and instead we can just check if the user signed in with the user, because we'll have a principal, so we'll have a claims principal, so we can just do like a user.is authenticated.
In here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because this is a Razor page, is this going to cause us any problems? User.is authenticated. I only have enroll.
Oh, okay. Well, hang on a sec. So, let's try. Is there a user.identity hanging off of that? Off of that
Yep.
user object, and then is
There we go.
authenticated. There we go. Okay. So if the user's authenticated, and we will. So the authorization service. We're not doing anything yet with your two-factor enabled thing, which sadly I don't think we're going to have time to get to in the next 22 minutes. But I mean, what are you doing Monday? Obviously, you should come back. So that should be fine though. Like we could still have it, or at least show the user's name. But okay, so if the user's authenticated, we're gonna show their name.
Just have it.
Okay, and then we probably don't need the authorization service right now either.
No, I'm thinking we don't,
Okay.
and then we can get rid of those and that one.
Okay. Cool. All right.
All right, should I have another whiz at it?
Let's go.
Okay, what did it not like? User manager. Oh,
Oh.
did we have another bit with her?
Down here.
Oh,
That's okay. We
Okay.
can use,
See
we
see
can
so
use
much code. The amount of code that you need to write for
is it user?
user.identity.name.
Is it it's now all too small. Dot name, and
Yep, that should be it.
There you
it
go.
doesn't like it. It doesn't like it.
Oh, really? What
Dot-
does it say?
No, now it likes it.
Oh, okay.
When I did it through IntelliSense, it liked it.
Oh, okay. You will do it.
So-
You will do it IntelliSense's way, or you will not do it.
Yeah, it's my way or the highway.
Okay, cool. Now we may still have to go change what's called the name claim type, which is the thing that links those two together. That says, hey, this is the claim that you receive is where the user's name is. So the register button isn't going to work right now. So let's just try to log in and see
Yep.
if that takes us anywhere. And it doesn't, because that is a link to a login page.
Yes, we need to change that.
Yeah. So those.
That no longer works.
Yep. So those two links are essentially. Uh-oh.
JP, people saying that they can't hear you.
What?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Is
I
it-
can hear him.
What happened? Oh,
What happened to your sound?
I don't know.
Did you press a button?
Mute my mic and maybe it'll come back? Oh, that's too bad. I mean, people are probably tired of listening to me, so maybe.
Oh, JP Flick can hear you.
You've
We
been
can hear
muted.
you.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it's a Blazer Mr. Magoo problem.
Oh. Okay.
It is lower.
So that's because we just deleted this area called identity.
Only coming out of one speaker. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on a sec.
Are you mono? He's like a man in a box here. Can hear everyone else fine.
Are you messing with my microphone, Christos?
Obviously. Salty Sea Cow says they can hear you.
Okay. Oh, that's weird. I wonder what it is about my voice specifically. Okay. It may have been because I was talking like this with my hands over my mouth. My microphone's over here to the right, although you can't see my camera, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so instead of the ASP area being identity, in fact, we're going to go to an area called, I don't even think we need
Microsoft Identity is the area. So that's all you have to change, in fact. And then the ASP page should be account and then login.
Yep.
Like so.
Now,
Yep.
well, now hang on. Now that's our is authenticated link, which we don't want you to go log in again. Right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So
So we can go down
to
essentially
this
we
one.
need that down here. Yep.
They can hear you, but your sound is low.
Oh wait, no, God, it's down here. It's not there. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go here, and here,
Yeah. Microsoft Identity.
and this one is login, and this one's register. Are you happy with those two?
Yep.
Yeah, we can delete.
Although the register doesn't work actually.
Yeah, we
There's
can-
no register for us.
we can delete register. We don't even need it.
Make it simpler. Remove the links. Less code.
See, I'm liking this. I'm liking. Let me get my tabs instead of spaces in as well, so it's not a
Thank you, Clap
mishmash.
Dubois. It's like, haha, don't listen to Christos. Is the lesson here.
Perfect.
Oh,
Thank you. You know what? I'm out.
My
You
secret
people
is
don't
out.
Yeah. You can't escape me.
all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
now we
try
have
to
a
log in
login.
now.
No.
Okay, wait. Where's it trying to take us?
It was trying to take us back to this.
Is it okay?
We don't have that area. Is that coming in the code? Is
It
that
is.
like part of the library? Okay,
It
let's
is.
try again. If we do that, let's go check it out.
Okay.
All right. So if I hover over that, it wants. Oh, you see, it's the. We need to go and do the map routing because that's the problem. We need to go back
Oh.
into startup. And you know all that stuff I was saying.
Almost
Let's delete.
there,
Let's
almost there.
delete. Let's
Oh.
delete. No, we can't. We can't. We have to have. We have to have all the Razor Pages stuff. So let's go and
Yeah.
try it.
Okay. If you insist.
Fine.
We got a bit too delete happy, peeps. Let's see. No, that's still not. So what it is?
Guess who didn't start before deleting? It's okay, Robert Tables. We'll survive.
Well, what if we just what if we
So-
just take out the area? I mean, we know the path, right? It's whack Microsoft Identity, whack account.
Yeah,
whack
I
login.
wonder if it's expected though. You know what I
Let
mean?
me just have another look. Let's just Control Z a little bit more in
I
here.
wonder if it's expected.
Where was I? Where am I? Where is it? Oh, up here. Okay, no, Control Shift Z.
Microsoft Identity account. Oh, it's sign in, sign out. It's not log in, log out. Sign
Oh.
in.
Oh yeah.
Duh.
Sorry.
Where am I? Where?
The ASP
what?
action should be, or the path should be account, and then sign out or sign in.
Okay, here. Oh no, not
Yeah.
here. Where am I? Oh no, here.
Here. Yeah. Does it count? Is it, you said it's sign in.
It's sign in, yes.
Okay.
So Microsoft Identity, then account, then sign in.
Okay.
Yes.
So, but we still have the problem that in the
We
startup,
still need to map it, right?
we still need the mapping. So if we go down here, we've got endpoints using map Razor Pages. That should work. And we also have add Razor Pages here. And that, I wonder if it's these, where are they? The options. You know, we commented out those options. They've gone. Why are they gone?
Because we deleted them. And Robert
Okay,
Tables was
alright,
like,
alright, here we go.
stash it.
Okay, hang on.
There they are.
There. Okay, so now if I go and put that line back in, where was it? Here.
Oh.
No, it's okay. It's still there. So we've got that. I reckon we need these, and we need to map those to what you're saying.
Okay.
Gotcha. So,
So this is now Microsoft Identity.
Yep.
Soft. And
It's account.
we want this one.
What was it? Sign in and
Well,
sign
then
out.
That's
Yes.
the area folder. So do we have an area folder?
I don't think
You don't
so.
need to. You don't need to.
Alright.
It's built into the DLO.
Okay, let's just see what we get.
Wait a minute, they're still coming it out.
That's okay.
Yeah, I did because they. No, you see, that's not happy.
Where does it take us now?
It says question mark area equals Microsoft Identity and page equals percent to FA account percent to F sign in. So that is we don't. Why is it taking us to the 2FA? Why is it doing that? It is. Let's go back here. Because if I zoom out, there must be something going on with 2FA.
What if we just put
Why
a?
is there-
Is there any way we can just put a link to it?
Yeah. we could href. Can we do that? And then is it going to be tilde?
I don't even think it. I guess yeah, it would depend on where you're. Yeah. Microsoft Identity.
Sign in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go. It's.
So it's account and then sign in.
Oh no! Tough.
Too fast.
That's what happened last time. Okay. Regrettables, sit back and enjoy the popcorn. I'm just going to have a look. Well, yes, that will work at least. Let's do that. Sign in account / sign in. Okay.
Okay.
All right, let's go. Okay. We can do this. I have a preemptive chair dance.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes!
Nice, we're
See?
there.
Told you.
Okay.
All right.
So
So
sign
now
in.
I sign in.
Yep.
Remember your password and...
I do.
You do. Good.
Was it Pumpkin 67 or something?
64.
Oh, okay. Okay. This is good. So we made it back. So that's good.
Yes.
Do you have is there an output window somewhere we can look at? Go see what happened.
Blah, 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 blah. Don't know. Everything's gone. Output. Oh, that's not going to help us, is it? Sit down and... Oh, hello, come here. There. No. Why is the... It's hiding behind the immediate window, which could go. We don't need the immediate.
Okay.
Oh my God. There it is.
We could just run it again. Okay,
Let's do
we'll
that.
see the error.
Mm-hmm.
We hope.
We hope. That's right.
Alrighty. So we're
Well,
going...
we can run it from the command line and then capture the output in the command line. There's always a way.
Alrighty. Let's go.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So...
Oh, that's right.
ID...
Yes. This is so we're gonna have to go and do a little hack to make this work, but it's fairly straightforward. It's okay. It's okay.
A hack?
Well, it's a temporary hack. So let's.
It's tweaking.
Yeah, so
Let me see, folks. I can see if I can zoom in. I know people are asking to see it, but I can't make it bigger. I'm a problem. What does it say? It says ID token and access token should be present in the OpenID Connect Protocol validation context.protocol message. Received from token endpoint.
I remember this one.
Yep. So.
Right. Where's this hack going?
Okay. Well, so the hack. So
B2C.
we have two hacks. The first one's in B2C. So let's go back to B2C. And let's go to your app registration. And so what's happening is it's expecting to have an access token, but we're not actually getting an access token because we're not asking for one. So let's open up CloudCityCakes. And under expose an API over there on the left, we're just going to add a user, an access as user API. So you can keep that name, that's fine. Save and continue. Yeah. And we're going to add a scope. There we go. And the scope name,
Alrighty.
you can call it whatever you want, but access as user or user impersonation, it doesn't really matter. Okay, and then I just put the same thing in all of them.
Alrighty.
And then we can add that scope.
And add it.
Yep. And then we want to copy that scope. So that little, not that one, the one underneath it in the scope list itself.
Oh, this one.
Yep, so copy that, and
Okay.
then go to API permissions,
Yep.
and we are going to add a permission. And under My APIs at the top, you can see yours, choose it, scroll down a little bit, check that box, and hit Add Permissions.
Okay.
And then you will have a consent button that you'll need to hit. So, and this is just sort of a kind of a temporary workaround. Because this is going to get fixed. So you see that grant admin consent button, that checkbox over there on the side?
Oh, wait. Oh, checkbox.
Or it's a check button, I guess. Up a little bit. There you go.
Oh, this one.
Yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Oh, consent.
So copy the, so you still have that scope on your clipboard, right? The big one?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go back over into your code. And we're going to make one more change. Let me get it pulled up here. In that Microsoft Identity options, where we're doing that configure. So first we need to make it. We're going to have to make it an object because we're going to have to do another set here. So the other one is x.events. And that's going to be a new OpenID Connect events.
It's going to want a thing, connect event.
Yep.
There we go. Oh my god.
Okay, so in there, so we've got our new one, and we're gonna arrow into it. Or sorry, we're gonna do it in the initializer. So.
Oh, okay, right, yep.
Yep. The event that we care about is called on redirect to identity provider.
Yep.
And that's equal to, and then we've got you're going to have one parameter, CTX, context, you can call it whatever you want, and then arrow into a method, and we're going to add a scope. So curly braces, and
you want me to add it like that? Yep.
So CTX.protocol message.
Yep.
.scope.
Oh, sorry. Yep. .scope. Oh God, I'm smashing all the keys.
That's okay.
Yep.
It's fine. It's fine.
And then plus equals, because we're going to be adding to whatever's already going to be there, and then it's just a string that opens with a space, and then that thing that you copied, that scope that you copied.
Yeah, you need a space because scopes are space separated, and there might be a good case that you may.
And then return a completed task. Or
so
from result.
Return...
Yeah, I just do task.completed task, but you could do from result or whatever you like.
Oh, okay. So completed task, like so. Oh, what? And then the something in there. Is that what you mean?
Nope. You don't even have to do that. Just semicolon.
Oh, just.
Yep.
There.
And then
brute force.
Yeah, and then yet another using. Cool.
Yay! For all the usings.
So what this is going to do is it's going to add that scope to the ones that are already there, which are OpenID and Profile, which are the ones to sign you in. It's going to add our extra scope, which is going to force B2C to return us an access token in addition to an ID token, and then the library will light up and be happy. So let's run it again and see what we get.
Alrighty. Eagerly waiting.
Moment of truth.
Let's go.
Log in. Cool. We're gonna have to do a session on like styling B2C to make it look like you want.
Yeah, man. The cake one. Yeah.
Okay.
Chat party.
All right.
Come on.
So we got there, which is
Christos.
great.
There you go.
I'm not stopping till Christos does a chair dance.
Do a dance, Christos.
Thank you.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
Man, I picked a great day to have a broken camera. All right. So the last thing we should do is let's take a look at the user themselves to see what we got. So we don't have any. We haven't set up. We haven't set up the authorization bits yet, so we still have to do that. So the one other thing we want to look at is, let's see, where are we? If you scroll up a little bit.
In here.
Sorry, in the
in the code.
In the code, sorry.
Yeah.
We should be done with the B2C side now.
Okay.
Where we are doing add authentication.
Yep.
In that add authentication, in that we want to add a parameter, and we will call this OpenID Connect Defaults.
In here?
Mm-hmm. OpenID Connect Defaults.
I have to keep typing. No. default. No.
I think we have 3 N's.
Oh yes, we do. I got excited. Connect. I still don't have it default.
Oh, yeah, you don't still have it yet. That's okay. Try Microsoft Identity options and see, or Microsoft Identity defaults. Don't know if that's going to be there either. We can at least look and see. No, that's okay. That's okay if it's not there. Typically we don't have to set that. Let's do this instead of messing with the scheme there, because the scheme should be set by the underlying library. Underneath your configuration of underneath that whole block, let's add a quick and dirty authorization policy. So services dot add authorization. Let me check. And then authorization X into
Oh no. Stop being trying to be helpful.
Whoever wrote XML configuration extensions is like, so many people type my library in, but nobody uses it. I don't understand why. And then just do x.fallback policy equals x.default policy.
By the way, we have 2 minutes in, so
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to go in a sec. So
Okay.
all right, run this one more
it will
time.
put us out.
Run this one more time. Let's see if we can get to the admin page, and then
Come on.
and then I've got some. So I wrote some code yesterday that does the other thing. So instead of blowing up identity, it keeps it. So I'll share that with you too. It's a lot more.
Yeah, we're
code.
probably gonna put a blog post together as well to explain how it should be done.
Oh no, bro. Okay. Let me check.
Default talent scheme not found.
Yeah, the default scheme should be set by Identity.Web, but it looks like it's not. Scroll up to the top. Or sorry, not. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean all the way to the top. In that add authentication, try cookie authentication defaults dot scheme.
No, I don't have that.
No, okay. And OpenID Connect defaults wasn't there either.
No.
Type in defaults and see if you can resolve it with OpenID Connect defaults. We'll see if it resolves.
No.
No. It might be in a different. I think it's in a different package. It's in one of the authentication packages, but okay, we have to go anyway because it's 1 o'clock. So we will be back on Monday, and maybe we'll convince Layla to. If you're not with us, we'll at least write some code on Monday.
We'll see. It might be possible.
We got a bunch of Twilio Verify stuff for B2C too, which unfortunately we didn't.
Yes.
Get so anyway,
yeah, that's the second part.
Send us your notes. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, Layla, and we will be back on Monday.
Monday, Tuesday, and Friday next week.
Good Lord! All right, thanks everybody. Are you serious?
Thank you. I am.
Oh my God! All right, see everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.